chat.
Oh, well.
Yeah, I forgot. YouTube changed its system. Anyway, but yeah, thank you to the chat for all you guys coming up early and saying salutations. And there's Kalika, Crystal, or wait, I remember. Is it? Do I just say Senzi for them?
Yeah, Cinzy.
Okay, yeah, because I'm like I remember being corrected on that.
Hello.
And there's
Hello, all.
Monica, Tomboy Chan, who I saw subscribe while we were setting up. Thank you, Tomboy. And Jeremy,
Jeremy,
Inspector Who,
hi.
and Lee. We got all the good peeps. We got the good crowd today. I
We're
mean,
all
every
here
crowd.
to save Mantle.
Yeah, all here to save Mantle.
Everyone form a line, we're gonna punch Ironwood in the face.
Oh man, dude, I would sign up for that line. Like, it's like, where's Ironwood? Let me punch Iron Daddy. And no, it's not a kink. Um,
Oh, Jesus Christ.
sorry.
Oh, why are the authoritarians always attractive?
People get weird with Ironwood. I don't know what's. I mean, this was before we found out he was. Well, we've always
He kind of
kinda
always
known.
was.
Yeah, I'm like, we kind of always knew. It just wasn't as focused on in past volumes.
It was more a tendency than an outright dictatorship.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I feel bad for
He was
Gage.
he was Anakin in Attack of the Clones, like maybe dictatorship is good.
Oh my gosh, Anakin, no.
I had to suffer through that movie for a video essay. I'm gonna reference it as much as I can.
Yeah. Oh man, I have a love hate relationship with those prequels. But also I feel bad for Gage in the chat because they just said like I just walked in and heard it's not a kink, and it's like
You knew what you were signing up for.
we're just like let's punch
You
Ironwood,
know,
and no, it's
you
not a
know what
kink
Ruby
thing.
tubers are. You know what Ruby tubers are capable of.
Gosh, yeah, we're capable of all sorts of things.
Oh God.
When you're as sexy as Jason, people will get weird. Awesome.
Where is the lie?
If there is no line.
I said lie, not line. But
Oh,
there can also be a line that we will cross.
touche. You bested me on
I don't know what just happened. I think I made a Tangled reference. Okay, anyway.
that. Yeah. Watts, prison, child, execution. Yeah,
That
Inspector.
escalated very quickly.
Yeah, I'm like, wow. Okay, I was gonna say, I'm like, let's just start on like the beginning of the episode, where it's Team Orange versus Neo. You
I
know,
suppose that's what we're calling them now because it's easier to say that than Team Junior plus Oscar.
yeah. Uh, but however,
Iron Ironwood has nothing left to lose. God damn it.
yeah, he doesn't. He lost his tin heart, that's for sure.
No, that's a Tangled reference.
Come on. Like my brain just like loaded. It's like yeah. However, with Team Junior, we could technically say with how this volume ends, we're back to Team Juniper.
I mean, it is Oscar Pine, so I guess it checks out.
No. I'm not talking about Oscar. I'm not talking about Oscar. I'm talking about that beautiful red-haired, green-eyed girl who was a maiden candidate and is now a maiden. She fits right in with the Juniper.
Oh god damn it. Oh no, it just clicked and how dare you? How
Everyone's like
dare you?
Penny. The whole chat is like Penny.
It's been a long day. Y'all know how stupid I am.
Yeah, I'm actually working on a video called "How to Become a Maiden," and
Oh my god.
and I'm almost done editing it. And at some point, I'm like, you know what? Now that I think about it, your chances are a lot better becoming a maiden if your name starts with the letter P, you have red hair, and your eyes are green. Just saying.
Fortunately, you also have to be more likely to die, but it comes with the territory.
Yep. Oh, dude, I should have thought of that because they both die in Volume 3. It's like, and you both must die during the final festival tournament. Dang.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Sonic Rose is like, step one, murder the current one. That's in the video.
I mean, you could. I mean, Winter was basically going to do that, so you know.
Yeah, yeah. It kind of reminds me of like assisted. Is it called assisted suicide or what is it? I know that like there's a whole moral debate of it when like someone's too old and they like want the doctors to put them to sleep, but there's like whole moral.
I believe that's the term. There might be another one.
Yeah, I know it's one of the terms.
Yeah, it's a very huge debate, and we likely do not have the time to get into it.
Nope. But that was basically like the same concept of what Winter was gonna do, except for minusing the consent part of the person. So
yeah. Well, then again, the way Freya talks, maybe they talked about this before and had some waivers that we didn't see.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But that was before she lost her faculties. So
back to the moral gray area. Or even more.
It's Ironwood. It's Ironwood. This is the least of his crimes.
Yeah. It's the least of his crimes. It's like, what? She was gonna die in a few weeks anyways. Alright, that was a little dark, but also, I think it's funny that just Monica in the chat is like, yes, it is assisted suicide. And I just think that's funny from what I know about Doki Doki Literature Club, which isn't a whole lot, but something tickles my dark humor bone when you said that. Anyway, back to Neo.
I don't know enough about that to make a reference. Anyway, yes, best girl Neo.
Best girl Neo. Sassy as ever. I love her. Good girl.
I adore her fighting style and the way she just toys with all of them, especially Nora.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
She just yeeted Nora with her parasol.
Yeah, like, oh man, where is it? I love like the little, oh gosh dang it. I'm trying to find like the moment where like she does like this little like whoop when like Ren is flying at her.
Oh my god.
And it's just like, I love her personality and the way she displays herself.
She's easily the most expressive of any of the villains, and I think that's a huge reason why she's been a fan favorite for as long as she has been.
Yeah, like even though she, for the most part, hasn't been plot important until the recent volumes, like we've loved her because of the personality and style and just everything.
Agreed.
Oh, dang. There's something I was going to ask. Oh, yeah, with chapter 12, you know how, like, Oscar punched her? And that was, like, the first time she's ever been hit on camera?
Yes.
So, apparently, that was, like, through a miscommunication between the writers and the animators.
Oh, yes, I remember this, because originally it was going to be just Oscar rounding the corner and instantly punching her.
Yeah.
But it got elongated. I assume that's probably because the animators are given more freedom for their fight scenes and just the scenes in general. It's not like this is the first time this has happened, except this change is much less drastic, unlike Blake slapping Sun in Volume 4 when the writers did not mean for that to happen.
Yeah, I was going to bring that up, but like in both cases I'm thinking like surely they like watch these over before like they get too far into the animation, you know? Like, you know how they do like the wireframes and then like, you know, they go through each process for each shot.
Sort of like a pre-rendered version.
Yeah, and it's like, how did like do Miles and Carrie or the writers like not watch any of the progress for those in like little moments?
I mean, the older volumes are a bit of a misfire because they were produced so last minute.
Mm-hmm.
With volumes 6 and 7, I feel like maybe because they're produced so far in advance, it might just be that they see it and they prefer the way that it turned out.
Yeah, that could be it. And they're like, oh, people won't care that much because there's like an extra second or two between Oscar rounding the corner and landing the punch.
I still thought it was cool, so.
Oh, no, I agree. It was cool, but it's like, I could see why people would be like, how did that hit? Because he yells, then comes around the corner, and you see him.
It might also be that he runs up at the same time he screams, and we're just seeing them separated as the audience.
Yeah, Yeah, and that's kind of the
Weird.
problem with videos and movies is like sometimes shots aren't always perfectly in sequence.
Time is a lie.
It is. Like the time you're like, "Hey, I'm going to get ready at 6:30." And I'm like, "Do you mean 5:30 my
Oh
time?"
yes,
And then
because
like
we're like, this video comes out at this time Central Time, and I'm like, okay, I should communicate with him and translate my time into Central Time, and then you're like, no, it's Mountain Time, you fucking idiot, and I'm like, God
well,
damn
you
it.
didn't say central. You didn't say central, so I'm like, "Okay, he said my time. I need to make sure he meant central time and not actually my time." So,
Time zones.
yeah. Yeah. Um, Also, John Ronald in the chat brought up a good point that like Neo was distracted by Nora, and I agree with that to a point. Like that's kind of like where I'm standing, but like rewatching the scene, I could see where other people are coming from on saying,
Distracted by Nora thing seems weird because if Oscar is screaming and running around the corner, shouldn't her focus be on that instead
yeah,
of the idol Nora?
yeah. I was gonna say I'm like someone yelling, someone that you were chasing around, and it's probably chasing you around. You know, like that would catch
Just
your attention.
I'm just imagining like the Scooby Doo thing where they like run around the hall like a
So,
chase scene,
I
and
mean,
it's after the relic.
where is it? Like, I'm like, that is that not like, oh, we're skipping through the. I'll wait till I find it. But like the whole
Fine.
scene where like Nora grabs, I mean, not Nora, but Neo as Nora grabs Oscar. You know, like he's like looking around. Like I feel like that's like the aftermath moment of
There was a big chase scene before that, and Oscar was so tired he just missed it.
yeah, gosh. I you know, it wasn't until my second time rewatching this video that I or this episode, not video, but that I noticed how tired he was. Like that.
He's exhausted. He's covered in like bruises and like scratches, and no one is like, why aren't one of you carrying the poor farm child?
Yeah. Poor farm boy needs to be carried in fights and everything. I mean,
Well, I
fights
mean, the
is
alternative is have him fall and die. So,
we'll get to that later, huh?
oh dear.
uh, Maybe Neo didn't expect a full-on deck from a small boy.
That's very fair. That's very
That's
fair.
He's like 4'3".
Like,
That's a joke.
oh yeah, I don't have to worry about this one. All he has is like a stick. That's not even a gun. Oh no, I've been punched.
Yeah. Also, speaking of like reflexes to stuff, Oscar's reflex to like Neo trying to stab him when he's in the closet, like he had very fast reflexes,
Oh, definitely.
and I was like a little surprised he was able to do that so fast.
I'm so proud. I was. Thank God he still had his aura because otherwise he might be dead.
You know? Yeah. I didn't think about that because it wasn't till Ironwood shoots him that his aura breaks. Although, if she did land the stab with enough force, would it be possible that she could have broke through the aura and stabbed into him anyways?
I would assume so, but I don't know if it would have that much force. And it's weird. I feel like when you get into this level, you're kind of just like nitpicking the gritty details of aura, and it's just like, just relax. Just
No,
stop.
I'm not trying to nitpick. I'm just like,
Oh no, I didn't mean
like,
you. I didn't mean you specifically. I just meant
No,
in general.
I get what you mean. Like when people debate, like the Aesop's fight, for example, people would be like, or the Bumblebee versus Adam fight. People were like, but why did aura break then? And it's like, guys, obviously the aura broke then because the author, the writers wanted it to break then. There's not like a set.
Someone was punched in the ribs by a berserker. Are you expecting his aura to withstand this?
Yeah, the only time in RWBY that like they kind of had to follow like this many hits leads to an aura break was like the Vital Festival tournament because we had the
that's
the health
because
bars.
we were actively seeing the health bars.
Yeah, so they're like, all right, we gotta make sure that like there's an actual progress that we could cue for the aura to break.
I feel like that might be a little immersion breaking if we just saw health bars on screen all the time.
Yeah, Yeah, I mean, don't you have a health bar floating over your head all the time? I do, but it's off camera.
Oh, you can't prove anything.
John Ronald, like Star Trek, how do transporters work? Writers, they work very well, thank you.
They were built by geniuses.
Yeah. Oh, it's not off camera. It's right there. Yeah, it's underneath me. I meant like the one when I'm walking around, not on Vital.
Reality is a lie.
When the chat bests you with your own health bar. Gosh. uh, my mind keeps going blank. This is what happens when I work overtime shifts.
Oh my.
It's for a good cause. Crap. I'm trying to think. Oh, also, like, so she took the lantern. What are your thoughts on that?
I like that she got away with the lamp, mostly because I feel like the villains need some kind of win to go into volume 8 with.
Yeah.
Especially because we've gotten the critique of, oh, the heroes win too much. And I feel like it's not enough to have Salem be on Atlas's doorstep or to have Oscar shot by the man that we trusted for so long.
Yeah.
Without either relic on our side, it kind of feels like we're in a more hopeless situation and we're working with a time bomb.
Yeah, like there's been consequences for like certain events leading out, They don't just get out scot-free.
Exactly. And it also brings up the question, is Cinder going to attempt to use Jin, or is she just going to bring this to Salem like, please don't kill me?
I had that thought too. Like, I wonder if she'd use the last question to be like, how do I please Salem? Or like, how do I, like...
What a bullshit question.
I don't know, like... Yeah, Jin just says, same thing to like, as she did to Ozmo when he said, how do I kill Salem? And she's like, you can't. And then it's just like, bye-bye, 100 years.
Cinder asks, how do I find happiness? And Jin is like, you can't.
Stop being you, that's how.
Stop. Just stop, Cinder. Just stop.
Yeah, I just... Gosh, I'm glad Cinder has it. Whether she could use it as leverage to, like, get back on Salem's good side, or she could use the question for, like, something to put herself at like a higher place. But
it's going to be interesting seeing where Cinder and Neo go in volume 8, especially because I'm pretty sure we're all convinced Neo still wants to murder the shit out of Cinder.
Yeah. And also, like, it seemed to me that Neo was almost kind of hoping that Cinder would start liking her, or she'd start having some sort of like relationship with Cinder that's not...
Because when Cinder snatches the lamp, Neo looks really disappointed and then annoyed. And I don't remember who brought it up, but they mentioned that it was sort of like whenever Roman sent her on a mission, he probably praised her for doing a good job, and she was hoping for that.
Yeah, because when she had the lamp, she was smiling. Yeah, she was smiling when
that
she
knife
had the
a little
lamp.
bit more.
Yeah, it very much was like and that's kind of the impression I got, was like Neo on some level was hoping this would be the new Roman, like the new partner in crime. Yeah, it's not, but you can't blame her for being optimistic and like wanting something to be happy with. Neo realizing she's not getting paid enough for this. Amen.
Oh god, Cinder's like, tell it to the union.
Neo starts citing like, you don't allow them.
Oh Jesus.
Roman gave head pats in private. That's lewd content right there, Stoic. We don't allow lewd stuff like head pats on VYTALCast. I'm kidding.
How dare you show affection?
How dare you show that positive affection? Oh my gosh.
We did cover everything with the Neo scenes, even though they're not in order, so yay.
Yeah, we did. So now I'm just like, how do I find a good frame with the whole Cinder fight with Penny and Winter.
We
Which
just talk about the fact that Cinder is actually enjoyable this volume because
yeah.
I'm loving it.
Also, like when she said like the you Atlas elites are all the same, and started talking about all that, I immediately started thinking about you and Jeremy's tweets the night before. I was like, are you guys right?
Oh, should I explain for Yon peeps?
Yes, please do.
Okay, so basically Jeremy had a galaxy brain moment and went, you know, what if Cinder is actually the daughter of Jacques and was the result of an affair, and this is why she hates the elites so much and feels powerless because she was so close to having being born in the lap of luxury and power that Weiss and Winter got, but it was denied from her. And Jacques does have naturally black hair, like
Yep.
Cinder. And it checks out with the fairy tales because this would mean, well, first of all, in the Disney movie, Cinderella's main friend was literally named Jacques.
Yeah.
So, and it would also make Weiss and Winter the stepsisters.
Mm-hmm.
And there also seem to be a lot of parallels between Winter and Cinder, specifically in their designs and how the colors oppose each other, and also the fact they dual wield.
Yeah, they both dual wield, but however, something that I noticed yesterday, thanks to someone doing a Photoshop of Winter with black hair, is they said that like they're like, what if Winter's hair matched her eyebrows? And it's the same color as Cinder's hair, like Winter's eyebrows, and so people started theorizing like, what if Winter's hair is naturally dark too, but she dyes it white to match like her mother?
She brand.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, because like
damn.
the semblance is, you know, them inheriting the semblance doesn't cause the white hair, just them
It's just
being
a thing.
a girl.
It's just a thing that happens.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's definitely like oh, that would be even closer tie, and I really want to see like, it'd be hard to do because Cinder's face is like half molten, but like side by
she's
side.
kind of fucked up.
Yeah, it's like a side by side comparison of like, what do they look like with each other's hair color and stuff. But yeah, you guys were right on the money, I feel like.
I feel like because Volume 7 is so connected and leading into Volume 8, that they're leaving any confirmation for there. And that does make sense since it seems we're not done with Whitley and Willow yet. And even Jacques. Jacques is still alive. Cinder could still go to the prison and murder the shit out of him.
Bro, I would pay for that. Like, like it's like I don't care if it's Cinder killing him. I just want to see someone kill him. Like,
she goes into the cell and she finds Watts and Jacques in the same cell, and she's like, two of the people I hate the most on this godforsaken planet.
And she dual wields.
Lucky me. Goodbye. Like, one for you and one for you.
They had them both with each sword.
Get a murder. You get a murder.
Yeah, you get a murder. You get a murder. Gosh, I mean, I know, like, for the most part, Cinder's writing is not the best, but I love her so much. I
feel like it's because she actually seems competent now and not. She's still arrogant, but it's not to a fault like it was back in Volume 5 and even Volume 6. Like,
yeah.
The fact that she knew she could make Ironwood unravel with just leaving a chess piece on his desk is... Oh, I love it so much!
She feels like she's, like, back to, like, how she was back in the first 3 volumes. Where she...
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, back when we thought she was the big villain, you know? We're like, oh, Cinder, the big bad.
And threatening.
Yeah. She's very much feeling like that again, and I'm all here for that.
There was a point I was going to add on to that, but it has disappeared into the void.
Gosh dang it, Point. Why do you do that to us?
It's fine. Oh, we'll continue anyway.
Yeah. Also, what do you think about, like, the weird dynamic between Penny and Winter?
Friendship so much, it was the thing I never knew I needed.
Because, like, I just find it so interesting.
Bizarre!
That, like, yeah.
And weirdly fitting.
Yeah, it is. And it's like, kind of weird because like for Winter, it's kind of like Winter is being the trying to be the loving, supportive sister that she is for Weiss to Penny, but there's like just that connect isn't totally happening, and then Penny, I don't know, I feel like Penny's like being more emotionally mature or emotionally intelligent than Winter.
I the the point I hear the most about their dynamics is that Penny seems more like the human than Winter, who is acting very robotically, and I feel like that's actually this dynamic is actually a really good way to show that Winter kind of is an ice queen a bit. She may care, but she will always put the mission and logic first, whereas Penny is about as pure as and like as sincere as you can get. Like she's more sincere than RWBY. Do you know what you have to do to be more sincere than RWBY?
Just have pure innocence because you were born like yesteryear.
Yes, basically, yes.
I was gonna say like their relationship kind of reminds me of Master Chief and Cortana from Halo, specifically in Halo 4, because in Halo 4, between Cortana and Master Chief, there's a lot of discussion of like, like which one of us is the machine and which one's the human. Because Cortana is an AI, Master Chief is a human, but they're kind of like Penny and Winter. Like the AI is more human than the human, and the human's more machine than the machine.
So it kind of brings up the question of what even makes you human? What makes a soul?
Yeah.
Cindy also brings up a really good point that Penny has a higher emotional intelligence because she studies human interaction, whereas Winter has closed herself off from a lot of other human connections. Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah, because I was gonna say like, like and that's kind of what I was saying. Like with Penny being more emotionally intelligent, was like she's able to like see things and identify it more because she's trying to be human. She's like, it's kind of weird. She's become more human than most humans in the attempt of trying to be human, and it ultimately worked.
There was another point I was going to make, but that also disappeared. What is happening?
I don't know. Like I feel like I feel like the amnesia I was having earlier has now hit you.
Thanks.
Yeah.
It's like the Maiden powers, but worse.
Gosh. Also, I need to find the frame where Penny catches Winter, but like, I really just wanted to cry when Winter was like, "My life doesn't matter," and she's like, "I disagree," and I just melted.
Oh, that made my heart melt. Oh God, I love it.
Oh man.
Also, I remember the point I was going to make. The reason why Winter is so closed off is because that's what she had to do to survive under Jacques. So. Yeah.
Gosh.
That's what happens when you get raised in abusive households and you never shake those coping mechanisms.
No. Gosh. Yeah. I've been spending years trying to shake my coping mechanisms, and like, some of them came back a little bit last year, and they're going away, or I'm trying to make them go away. Anyway. Also,
the show is deep and dark.
Yeah, this show's gone dark. Like, I remember Volume 2. It was happy times. Happy, fun times. Then Volume 3 happened. And it's been, like, cool. Just sitting and waiting for stuff like this episode to happen. Or the episode where Penny's framed for a mass murder.
I remember when the intro for this volume dropped and we were like, wow, it's even more positive than Let's Just Live. It's going to be a fun time. And now we're just like crying in the corner.
Nope.
Oh God.
They're like, we can't do what we did for Volume 3 and give it like the darkest intro because it'll give away something terrible's going to happen.
Well, that's for next volume.
Yeah.
Oh, next volume's going to destroy us.
Dude, I mean, I'd be saying thank you while I'm being destroyed, but
we're doomed.
Yeah. I'm really wondering if like Semblance of Sanity's theory on like Ironwood dropping Atlas on Mantle would happen.
Intentionally?
Yeah, like it was to drop it on top of Salem, like in an attempt to bury her and like hold her back for a bit.
Good luck with that.
City blocks, Thomas. It's just a few city blocks.
True, but those 2 relics are gonna be under those, in those 2, just a few blocks, under all the debris for her to grab.
Technically speaking, it may only be 1 relic, because you have to use the Staff of Creation to hold up Atlas, and so removing it is what would make Atlas fall, so it wouldn't necessarily be underneath Atlas.
Oh god, the osmosis pun.
What in the chat?
It's in the chat.
Oscar learns new stuff through osmosis. Man,
along it spread through osmosis.
I wish I remembered the word osmosis during my reaction, because I was like, oh cool, he's like passively learning Ozpin stuff, but that would have been such a better way to say that.
If only there was a more, if only there were, no I'm sorry, that is illegal. No.
Chat, I love you guys so much.
Cursed.
Brett Hill's like Operation Meteor Times. Yeah.
Oh god, that sky fight though. Mm-hmm. Holy fuck.
Dude, the animation for the fights this volume have been so good. But the sky fight especially, that's like the first time we've had a sky fight? Second?
I don't know if it's the first time. Because I can't recall.
The other time, the second closest time I could think of to a sky fight is Raven versus Cinder. But they were still standing on a platform, you know, like they're running and fighting on falling bits. So it's like close, but not entirely quite.
Knows.
Yeah. The mech battle had some sky elements. Yeah.
Yeah, but we're talking like a full-fledged battle in the sky.
Like everyone is in the air
or flying.
On their own. They're not like running
either,
up anything.
Either we're flying or we're riding on summoned manticores.
Yes, which honestly, Queen.
That was beautiful. I cried.
I love winter so much. Like, sorry guys, this VYTALcast, you're just gonna hear me say I love everyone so much, because like
they're all good beans.
This finale, I was just like, man, I love Neo. Man, I love Penny. Man, I love Cinder. Like, I was just like, man. I don't know. It just reminded me that, like, one of the things that, like, kind of made RWBY popular back in Volume 1 and 2, or, like, one of the watching appeals was it was called a waifu simulator.
Oh my god.
Because like, or like waifu something, I don't know, but it was like, oh yeah, the show is mostly all girl characters and like they're all beautiful potential waifus, and like so it was like that and fight scenes was like the 2 drawing points for people. And this episode's just been me being like, waifu.
I mean, it is nice to have a show like this that is mostly driven by women, and have them not be subjected to stupid fan service you would see in anime. So
yeah, which, not to like I don't know how to word this, but like I feel like if Monty stayed longer, it was bound to happen with Yang, because Yang was kind of set up to be like a fan servicey character, and he off show would make fan servicey jokes about her, so it kind of makes me wonder if like had Monty stayed, would that have happened?
I'm not sure, because she's always been very confident in herself, as well as her appearance, but I feel like the core of her character as the mom of the group would still be intact.
Yeah, well, I mean, like, fan service comes in, like, many forms. It's not like always like a girl who's not confident, but then things happen. Yang was very much like the I'm confident, therefore there's gonna be fan service and like showing cleavage, or I'm gonna do sexy stuff. That's kind of what I was thinking. But anyway, we'll change.
Went to a place.
Yeah, I'm like, we'll change subject.
Talk about the dying old woman.
Yeah, the dying old woman. Where is she in the stuff? I'll scroll around and find her, but there she is. Okay, Freya. Yeah. I really stand Freya in this episode.
Same. I love how she's written. Someone in my server mentioned this is how you write a disposable maiden character, and then we all kind of shot a glare at Amber.
Yeah, I just Amber. Yeah, Amber. I mean, the main fault with Amber was she was comatose pretty much when we get introduced to her.
I think it's more that by the time we actually met her, we knew nothing about her at all, and she pretty much existed only to be a maiden that Cinder stole powers from. Whereas Freya, you can tell that, there's a sort of history there. She's been in here for a while. She knows Ironwood. She knows what her job is, and she ain't gonna go down without a fight.
Yeah. Whereas Amber just kind of got shot in the heart for, like a jump scare. Not a jump scare, but like a shock moment, I guess.
Just kind of riding out in the forest for some reason and then got ambushed. Why was she in the forest? Where was she going? No one knows. Literally no one knows.
Yeah. I wonder if it was like maiden missions or like I don't know.
She was kind enough to offer an apple. What a beautifully complex character.
Oh my gosh, she's nice. That's so complex.
The poison apple.
Who would have
from
guessed?
Snow White.
Who would have guessed a maiden was nice? Like,
actually, in RWBY, that is kind of shocking because 2 of the 3 current maidens we know about are horrible people.
2 of the maidens. Cinder. Oh, and Raven. Oh my gosh.
And Raven.
My brain was like, who is the other maiden? Okay. Sorry.
She was so horrible. Your brain just was like, we'd rather just forget about her.
Yeah, this is what happens when you like forget everything in Volume 5 because you're just scrubbing it from your brain, and then yeah, I
feel that. It's honestly, comparing 5 and 7 is like night and day.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I rewatched a good portion of Volume 5 this week. Mainly
how did you cope with that?
I was going for footage, just like how you were watching the prequels for an essay video. I was doing the equivalent, but on how to become a maiden, and have footage to use of Raven, and that's when she gets the most screen time. But also, more importantly, that's when we find out she is the maiden. Very last second in the volume.
You could have been good, Volume 5. You could have been good.
I feel like it had the structure to be a good volume. They just didn't execute it entirely well.
They allocated the resources in all the wrong places.
Mm-hmm.
And they rushed it out.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, it's amazing what a proper production process will do for you in your show.
Yeah, and honestly, props to Miles and Carrie being like, hey, we're willing to push back Volume 7 a few weeks if we need it. And I admire that transparency and willingness to do that after feedback, but I kind of hated the circumstances that had to lead up to them getting to that point too.
You wish that it didn't take this much or this long for it to happen, but you're happy it happened.
Yeah. And honestly, I feel like if it was Miles and Carrie, they would have done it, but might have been more of Gray. That was the one that was like, no, it's coming out now.
Yes.
Deadline.
The cursed one.
Yeah.
The cursed one who has left the building and shan't be welcomed back.
Yeah. Dude, I used to look up to Gray so much until all that stuff unfolded, and I was like,
Roman
"You're the
Torchwood would
chosen
be
one."
ashamed.
Yeah.
You were the chosen one.
But now it is
I
I
don't know
who
if I
has
would go
the
that
high
far.
ground. Somehow. Gosh. Yeah,
Jesus Christ.
it's a shame. Anyway, just let's see. Shall we try to compare Gray to Cinder somehow?
Oh my
Uh,
god.
like
Trying to gather power for your own dreams, except everything goes wrong.
yeah, like she's draining resources from other maidens for her own benefit, which is Genlock, and
This
um,
mean Gray fought an old woman.
yes, yes, I am willing to say he fought an old woman because I know an old woman used to be the
Okay.
accountant for Rooster Teeth, and then she retired last year,
Oh,
so he very much
well.
did likely fight her. Be like,
Oh,
I need you to take that budget from that little show Nomad of Nowhere and shove it all the way into Genlock, just all the way.
also some of the budgets for volumes 5 and 6, please.
I mean, at least Volume 6 was
This is
good.
getting into we're getting into very dangerous waters.
CJ's like Gray fought an old woman and lost. Okay, yeah. Anyway, let's
Right,
stop.
did.
Let's stop bashing a former RWBY person. Uh, anyway, Freya grabs that grim hand and is just a boss with like such little effort. Like,
Well, as Winter says, this is the power of a fully realized maiden. Like when you if you're a maiden and you manage to somehow survive to see past 35, you are a boss.
yeah, you are
Like
a boss.
Raven wishes she was at this level.
yeah, yeah. Well, I also wonder if like Raven isn't as practiced in the maiden powers because she's been trying to hide that she's a maiden.
Oh, absolutely. She's probably not had that many opportunities to hone her powers. And there's also been no one to guide her, whereas maybe when Freya was younger, she had the military to help her when she was healthy.
Yeah, yeah. And then, meanwhile, Cinder is like had to fight her maiden
She
powers
murdered
for a
a
bit.
she murdered a girl in the woods and is self-taught.
She's
She was also bullied by a demon.
yeah, she's like Aang from Avatar, but if there was no Katara or
You just say Katora.
yeah, I pronounced it wrong, Katara. Um, I
Shameful.
I don't know what happened when I was saying that.
Katora.
Katora. This is my AU where
Oh,
random.
oh no. It's the Shaman. It's what the Shaman movie would have called her if someone didn't stop them.
Another thing I try to bleach from my mind. Thanks.
You're welcome.
Gosh, I ditched school to watch that movie and walked out of that theater being like, should have stayed in school. That is literally what I said when my mom picked me up from that movie. She's like, so how was the movie? I'm like, I shouldn't have ditched school to see this.
That is one of the worst. That is one of the worst ways to learn to stay in school.
Yeah.
Not joining a gang.
If
Not
your
doing
kid
drugs.
if your kid is ever pretending to be sick to stay home from school, you're like, all right, if you're gonna stay home from school, you gotta watch The Last Airbender and
You
Night Shyamalan.
you have to watch a really shitty movie,
Yeah, they're like, all right, I'm going
and you
to school.
can't be on your phone while you do it, and you
Yeah.
have to write a report on it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do that to my kids.
Gosh, they just write, I want to die. Please release me. Um,
You've learned something.
yeah.
Anyway.
Cinder is like Aang. If Aang didn't have all his friends and was like, alright, I'm gonna teach myself firebending without Zuko. And just, yeah.
Failed at it miserably.
Yeah.
I mean, people do make this comparison that Cinder is a foil to Ruby in that Cinder is someone who was shown no love or affection of any kind, and as such became a cruel, hateful, spiteful, vindictive bitch.
Oh, and then like Ruby grew up knowing love and like always gained admiration from people, and now she's like actually trying to be a hero and all that. I could see that.
Exactly. Exactly.
Well,
and especially if that theory is right.
mm-hmm.
Oh.
Well, it would
Oh
make
dear,
sense
Cinder.
with like the grim parts of Cinder and like the silver eyes of Ruby. Like
That too, to show that they're opposites. And the Grim Armor also works to show how Cinder's lust for power is turning her into a literal monster.
she's really like Darth Vader. Yeah.
Oh god, she is Anakin.
Yeah, no,
Well,
like, I've made this comparison in the past. Like I think it was like Volume 5 was when I made
the
it.
chosen one.
Yeah, and like I had a theory that like throughout the series, Cinder's gonna slowly become less and less human, just kind of like how Darth Vader became less and less human eventually.
Oh my god. I was going to make a thing about maybe that explains some of Cinder's old bad acting, but I can't do that anymore because Jessica Negri's slayed in this episode.
Dude, Jessica Negri's been one of the most consistent voice actors in RWBY, and honestly, it's just surprising. Like, it's one of the was one of the episodes being like, oh yeah, this was Jessica Negri, huh?
I feel like that's probably what happens when she's given good material to work with and proper direction. Just those screams are so blood curdling.
Oh, gosh.
And you can feel the pain she's in, and it's like, I actually feel bad for Cinder. Oh no, she's trying to murder Winter.
Yeah. Also, Nicholas in the chat was asking, is this actually live? Yes, it is actually live.
Ghosts.
Oh, dang, I forgot. No. Kaito Dan is the ghost, not me.
What? Dan is a ghost?
Yeah. Yeah, he had to haunt the VYTALCast panel last year. The only way he could attend RTX was in spirit. And so
Oh, you had a seance.
Yeah. Oh, wait, who just subscribed? Hey, Nicholas subscribed. Thank you so much.
Good right. Person. Very good person.
Yeah. I should probably put the alert box on top of that so like I don't have to like get rid of that. All right.
Anyway. I'm scrolled down so I see the chat, so I did not see the thing up on the screen. Yeah. So.
Man, I'm trying to think of more Cinder stuff I was gonna say. Oh, well, Dan, yeah, we did pull a seance. We did have like a random person come up to the mic. Actually, it might have been Sonic Rose. Correct me if I'm wrong, Sonic Rose. Someone walked up to the mic and was like, "Have you guys seen Kaito Dan anywhere?" And then we're like, "Oh yeah, his ghost haunts this very room."
Is murdered by one of us. You're gonna have to figure out which.
I think it was Arnold. Murder's in his name.
Fucking hell.
Okay, so it wasn't Sonic Rose. Okay, I just remember the person that did their username had Sonic in it as well. So I'm trying to. It's so weird when you have to like match usernames with faces and.
Yeah, it gets weird.
Yeah. Okay, but Thomas is the unicorn of war. Okay, yeah, but.
I only kill people who deserve it.
Yeah, Dan didn't do anything. Yeah.
I only use people until they're no longer useful.
Yeah. Wow, way to throw Raven, Volume 5, and the writers under the bus for that one.
Miles and Carrie have improved, they're fine.
Yeah. Honestly, like, I just... They had the George Lucas problem in Volume 5, where, like, I feel like things just didn't get questioned or checked by others, you know?
Oh, absolutely. I don't think there was time to, because they didn't even finish the scripts by the time Chapter 1 of Volume 5 came out. Yeah, so they were like, we literally need to get this done in, like, 5 minutes.
Gosh, yeah. Yeah.
Night and day.
And to be fair, Salem only uses people till they are no longer useful. Makes sense. Like, it's not like English gibberish, you know?
It makes sense. The problem is that the sentence itself is redundant.
Yeah.
It's like a less dumb version of people die when they are killed.
They die when they are killed. You don't say. Okay, so CJ in the chat is saying Cinder was so unhinged in the episode, and I loved it. Also, seeing her grim arm just get cut off and screaming while it was regrowing made me feel so.
Thoroughly repulsed.
Yeah, thank you. I'm like, I don't want to butcher pronunciation after Katora.
Oh, good lord.
Like, I'm just gonna have to put that on a shirt. Katora.
Cinder was fantastic in this volume, and especially this episode, and I'm just... Yes, I want more of this Cinder in Volume 8, please.
Yeah, remember when people were like, man, where's Cinder? She's gonna suck this volume. There's like 2 episodes left. What's she gonna do? And then she does all of this.
She shows up.
Yeah.
And well, the thing is, when she showed up, the thing that was scary is that no one knew she was there, and everyone's focus was on Watson Tyrion.
Yeah. Gosh. This volume was so well balanced. With how many plot lines we had.
It's easily the best paced and best structured of all the volumes. Everything flows so well to the point where it doesn't even feel like the same show anymore, honestly.
Yeah, like I said that from like chapter 1. Like I was like, dang, this feels like a different show in a good way. It was like,
especially when you watch Volume 7 binged, the chapters 4 and 8 in particular, I feel like were weak on their own, but when you watch them with the rest of the volume, they're amazing.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, this episode in particular, like, brought like more meaning to like past episodes, like specifically scenes with Penny, you know.
Oh, because you can see where her arc is going.
Yeah, so like if you rewatch it, you're like, oh, this makes so much more sense now, or like, oh, this feels different now that I have the context of where it goes.
Oh, it's so nice.
It adds rewatchability in a very nice way.
Also makes things like Ironwood's Descent just hurt a little bit more.
Oh yeah, because you could just watch it on a more steady thing. You're like, all right, here's the dip, and we're going. Now it's just sky falling.
And it's going down a steep hill. That hill is steeper than the hill outside Argus.
Yeah, where your train falls off. Yeah.
Oh, God, how did they get down that hill alive?
Aura.
Want that to be a DC comic issue where they just try to find a way to get down the hill without dying. Just an entire issue of that.
Gosh. Inspector Who brings up a really nice and good thing for Volume 7 for me was every single episode made me excited for the next. The hype never stopped.
Not a single episode felt wasted.
Mm-hmm. Whereas for me, Volume 6 felt like it had one episode slightly out of place, or like.
Was it Chapter 8?
Yeah, is that the one when Oscar ran away and came back, and they all?
No, Oscar coming back is Chapter 9.
Okay,
he disappeared at the end of 8.
Okay, I was close. I was close to what I was thinking of, because I was thinking of like that story arc, or that time in the volume was like when stuff like changed
going
pace.
A lot slower.
Yeah, it like slowed down, and then like I don't know.
I feel like the Argus stuff is kind of weirdly paced, because you have Chapter 7 where the first half is Maria's past, and then the second half is getting to Argus, and it's like this feels a little bit odd. Why wasn't Argus just its own condensed chapter? What's going on?
Yeah, and then I feel like chapters 9 through 13 were oddly paced and done.
Because 10 through 13 are all one extended battle. And as much as I love Volume 6, and I do really like the finale, it's one of the more anticlimactic finales.
Yeah, it for sure was. Like the ending with the Grimm didn't feel as stakesy as
didn't feel as dangerous or as impactful, I feel.
Mm-hmm. Like
the last shot make it to Atlas is great. I
Oof.
love that. The Leviathan fight where it's
Yeah. Yeah, the Leviathan fight, I like. It's like, like I don't know. I have mixed feelings on it. I know some people are like, I don't know. I had some people disagree with me on like the mech fight in particular, and rewatching the mech
I
fight,
feel like
I like it better. But I feel like
I
the
think
mech
that
fight and the atom fight shouldn't have like intercut each other.
oh, definitely it definitely hurt to go from a low stakes fight to bees versus Adam.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like part of why I'm so defensive of that finale is because the fandom was in a very bad place around that time, and
Mm-hmm.
people were just really, really nasty. So on impulse, I'm like, defend Volume 6 at all costs.
No, like, don't get me wrong. Volume 6 is like my second favorite volume, hands down.
Yeah,
So,
agreed.
so I'm like, I love Volume 6 because Volume 6 was definitely the game changer for RWBY. I felt like, and then
That
Volume
really got its shit together.
yeah, and then Volume 7 was like, all right, we could do that consistently,
Oh,
and
it's so nice.
yeah, because like each volume, I do like a five things I liked about this volume and five things that I think they could have done better. And with volume 6 they kind of like merged a bit. Like I was like, okay, they're not going to be two separate videos like they were with volume 5. It's going to be one video because like I'm like, hey, like the atom fight and the mech fight, they shouldn't have been intersected together. They should have been their own separate episodes. And then talking about like consistency and like levels of fighting, because like the mech fight, as John Ronald said in the chat, said it felt too cartoony, whereas compared to the atom fight, it was more serious, more anime like, less cartoony. Anyway, hopefully that makes
I
sense.
feel like Cordovan fight is relevant to the plot.
Mm-hmm.
It's not really relevant to any character arcs, and it's not as emotionally powerful as the Atom fight.
Yeah,
I think is the big problem.
I feel
The
like
Atom fight feels like the only one that has a lot of emotion tied into it.
yes, and I feel like they're, if they really wanted to, they could have found a way to like tie it in more for Maria or even Weiss, but
Oh, agreed.
that they didn't.
Especially for Weiss, because this is taking on her kingdom's military, which, she's supposedly not that big a fan of. And all she really did was make a dirt wall.
Yeah.
So I did love the way she used the Lancer to fly around.
Oh, dude, I love that. Like how she with the Lancer, Winter with the Manicore. They're it's great.
I love practical summons.
Yeah, man. It like I don't know. Like I feel like Volume 7 achieved everything that I thought Volume 6 could have done better, and it's left me completely baffled.
It feels like this is the level the show has always wanted to be on, and I think, oh wow, it took presumably half the show's lifetime to get here.
Don't do that. Okay, so Jake in the chat is saying, I think I still prefer Volume 6 more because it had less to deal with, so it didn't feel like as many things were limited by time. Like in Volume 7, we didn't have as much time to get into any of the Aesops. And I agree with that. Yeah, I agree to a point, and I actually talked to you about that a little bit on Twitter earlier this
We
week.
did. Yeah, we did discuss that.
Because, like, for me in particular, like, the scene with Penny and Ruby in that truck, I was like, would have been nice if it was a little bit longer, but it achieved what it needed to in the time we had with it, but I would have liked to see that develop more.
Yeah, I feel like just it's mostly because Volume 7 is probably the best place in the show to have any filler episodes. RWBY could really benefit from having filler episodes, but they can't do that because volumes are movies. So,
Yeah. And as long as the filler episodes are character arc relevant, because I feel like
no, we're not talking like random filler episodes that have nothing to do with anything and are just here to pad for time.
We are talking about Avatar: The Last Airbender filler episodes where it's a filler episode, but dang, you cried so hard over Zuko on that date with that
Still
random
not.
girl.
I'm still not entirely sure which chapter of Volume 7 was supposed to be Tales of Ba Sing Se. I think it's 5. I think it was supposed to be 5, but I can't tell.
Is that a night off? I'm trying
to... No, that was Sparks.
Oh, Sparks. Oh, yeah. Yeah, Sparks.
Tales of Ba Sing Se did not include an election that resulted in a murder. Or, not even a murder, a mass murder.
There was no election in Ba Sing Se.
What election? They're a monarchy.
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry, I was just kind of
went to a place.
Yeah. Man, Avatar was such a good show.
Now I want to rewatch it just to see Katora again.
Katora, baby girl, baby. Yeah.
Oh yeah, the next point. Penny becoming the Winter Maiden. God bless.
Oh yeah, let me just skip to a good frame for that, because I totally skipped.
Oh yeah, Team Orange crying. That also seems important.
Yeah. Where is the frame I am looking for? It is somewhere around here, because there's Oscar falling. There it is. That's what I'm looking for. Boom. Baby girl baby is a real girl.
And she always was, but now we have proof.
Yeah. Like, I saw some people kind of bickering on Twitter, like, well, didn't we kind of go over that in Volume 2? And it's like, yeah, but having your friend tell you, like, no, you're fine, is totally different than, like, magical powers.
Literal force of magic going, yeah, you're good.
Yeah. Like, I feel like there's a difference in...
I'm just so proud of Penny and how far she's come, and it's especially ironic given Ironwood said at the dinner party, Penny is completely under my control.
Penny's like, F this crap, I'm out.
He's like, Ironwood is like, we must leave Mantle to die, to perish, to save ourselves. And Penny's like, I disagree.
Yeah. Just remember, guys, if you have red hair, green eyes, a name that starts with the letter P, and you're handpicked by your schoolmaster for anything, you're more likely to become a maiden than anyone else.
Or if you're a friend of, like, you know, that one Schnee girl who's supposed to be the maiden because it matches her name, but, like, her being the maiden would be stupid, so you're like, it's mine.
Okay, but Winter would have been so funny, though.
Like, it would have been. But...
like, Winter was, like, such a potential meme for me. I was like, I just want Winter to be it, so we could have Winter, who has sword, and she's with James Ironwood, who has gun. Like, it would just be perfect. Like...
But that's exactly why they did not go for it. And also because we need to see Winter with her hair down while she was getting the shit beaten out of her.
Bruh, okay. Yeah, I already said I love Winter, but, like, seeing Winter with her hair down was like, wife me up.
Funny, because I was working on the Chapter 13 reaction earlier, and Jeremy and I were both freaking out about it. And the joke I made was that we're freaking out about this while she's calling for medical assistance. So I had her say immediate medical assistance with blaring audio and text reading, "Call me a doctor, dumbass."
Yeah. Okay, I'm seeing the chat go crazy about Nora backstory. Yeah, that was another fake out we had.
Yeah. And maybe it's Volume 8. Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, with both chapters being so closely tied together, and then also we were like, Freya had a similar hairstyle.
Like, what the hell?
Yeah, it was like, oh, cool, maybe they will shoehorn the backstory of this episode somehow. Nope.
Well, to be fair, I don't really see how it could have fit or worked, and we don't really need it. I'm just bitter.
Yeah. No, I agree with you for sure, because, like, once we hit, like, Chapter 11, I was like, guys, I don't think we're going to get that backstory. I'm like, I don't think we're hitting that backstory. I was like, unless Freya dies next episode, and it ends with Nora getting the maiden powers, and we spend a good half of the episode following that on Nora's backstory to explain why she has a connection to the maiden. It's not happening. And then
I did love that fan edit of her with the maiden eyes, though. That was pretty.
That was good. Also, what was up with this volume and fake thumbnails?
I don't know. This fandom operates on cruelty and stupidity.
And there was someone, I don't know who, and I also don't want to like name names, but someone like the day after the finale posted a video with a thumbnail showing Penny with the maiden powers, and people,
oh my God.
yeah. I think I know who it is. I'm checking just so I know. Okay.
This fandom like this?
Never mind. Okay, so it was very close. It's a screenshot from the scene, and I guess like if you hadn't seen the episode, you might be able to guess what happens, but it's vague enough it's vague enough to be in the gray area of whether is this screenshot a potential spoiler or not. But
No.
Anyway.
And can we talk about the sequence where these scenes with Penny are intercut with Oscar scenes, and then you get Ozpin's monologue, and then the song.
And the music.
Oh.
It was just so...
The sequences and montages of this volume are so well directed.
Mm-hmm. And Oz being back. It took me like a good 30 seconds to process Oz is back when I was watching the episode.
After the episode.
I was like, who is this voice? Oh, it's Ozpin. Oh, Ozpin's back. It was like...
Actually, like, what is this voice?
Yeah.
Oh dear.
Listen, with everything else that was going on during that sequence and leading up to it.
Hey, that's fair.
Yeah, I'm like, my brain is processing everything still. I'm feeling feels. And when you have something as important as Ozpin coming back, you're like, oh yeah, that happened. Yeah. Because I was still over like Ironwood shot Oscar.
Child.
Yeah. Gosh, like, gonna find that.
It reminded me, Shannon McCormick has been one of the best voice actors in the show from day one.
Mm-hmm.
And I forgot how much I missed Ozpin's speeches because that man speaks truth.
Yeah, gosh, I'm glad that like some of the fandom is finally chilling out from Volume 6 and being like, oh yeah, Ozpin is a good guy, because I feel like Volume 6.
I feel bad for contributing to the Ozpin hate.
Volume 6 like unintentionally like made people hate Ozpin, I feel like.
And then you realize, oh, he was kind of not given the full picture by the God of Light, and also he's just been trying to keep everyone fighting because the alternative is we all die.
Yeah.
Actually, I mentioned this to Jeremy and Cinzy before. It's what RWBY has been going through, pushing away her emotions, not being sure who to trust, trying to be a good leader. It parallels what Ozpin has been trying to do all this time.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Parallels,
yeah. Also, I got like Ironwood with the smoking gun on screen. I'm just like, ugh.
How do you feel after shooting a child?
Yeah.
I hope it's terrible.
I'm also just slightly bitter that someone beat me to making the what you say meme with this scene.
Oh my god.
Because, yeah, I was...
This volume has delivered on the memes.
It really has. I've really
the Bumblebee
enjoyed
selfie, Detective Weiss, Ironwood screaming at his scroll.
Yeah, I was gonna say the Ironwood scroll one is really good. Yeah, because I fell a little behind, but I'm trying to make meme videos similar to Hammer Time to fill that void in my heart.
I miss Hammer's videos.
Seriously, I'm talking to a friend of Hammer Times, kind of like using like a middleman, like, and they know they're being a middleman. It's not like I'm using them without them feeling like knowing, but like they're volunteering in it. But I'm like, hey, is there any chance Hammer Time's coming back? And they're like, probably not. Like, there's reasons. I'm like, okay. And then it's like, is there any chance I could pay Hammer Time to like make videos and then like I upload them? Like, yeah. So.
I feel Hammer has contributed enough positivity to the fandom and has every right to step away if they wish.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's just like I was like, maybe if I pay her and like she makes the videos, but then like they go on my channel, so any anger or negativity that like went to her is focused on
You're
my
like
channel.
a buffer.
Yeah, so like I'm like the Marine standing over the kid with the knives and guns and grenades hitting him, and like
Jesus.
Hammer Time's her the kid, and then I'm that. Yeah. Anyway.
Oh my god.
You seen that meme, right?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Now it took me a bit to picture the meme.
Yeah, I'm like talking about the meme, and you're like acting like it's something serious. I'm like, Thomas, it's a meme.
It's like
it's okay.
I'm the meme of that woman trying to do math.
Yeah.
Fine.
Yeah. Brent is asking, how did Oscar get down to the vault? He's a wanted criminal. Why didn't Ironwood revoke his access?
Who cares?
Yeah. I was gonna say, like, we don't really know all the answers. And also, there's a chance that the cane has something.
An all access pass.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if that cane is somehow a MacGuffin get into any vault you want tool.
It might also be that Ironwood didn't have the time to, and he was also waiting for Winter. So imagine Winter got there and she's like, "Oh god damn it, he changed the password."
Yeah. I mean, I imagine they would it use like their scroll to like beep the thing, and then it like goes down. So yeah, but so it could have made sense if it was like, oh, if they scan their scroll, and that way it's like a verified user. Or
new password is Atlas, but replace the S with a $sign.
Yeah, and then the A with the @ sign.
Which A?
The first one.
That works, I guess.
Yeah. So that way it's like sandwiched between like symbols.
Oh,
and also he needed Oscar for the lamp.
Training.
Oh yeah, Oscar. I mean, he one-shotted a Grimm in chapter 1.
That was more with the pogo stick. That wasn't like actual magic.
But that it was a method. It was just unorthodox. He
Most unorthodox.
Yeah, he's just a kid. You know, he was like, I'm gonna kill them the kid way, and then he pogo sticked.
Now he can make force field bubbles, because why not?
He could be Mewtwo again. Yeah.
So proud, because Oscar has had issues with developing on screen for a while, and it feels like he didn't do much in the first half, but it feels like they really stepped up their game in the second half.
Yes. Yeah, I was gonna say, I feel like Volume 6 attempted to give him development.
And failed.
Yeah, terribly. Like, not saying Volume 6 was terrible by any means, but they did kind of go,
great.
He ran away, came back with new clothes. Development finished, y'all. And we're like,
thrifting.
Yeah.
And he also did nothing during the Brunswick arc, so that's great.
He read a book out loud, so we had exposition.
Technically, Maria did that.
He read it at times too.
Oh,
he read it at the end of the episode. Just kidding. Yeah, it's like I remember Oscar reading it, and I was like, wait, nope, that was at the end of the episode, and he throws it out of the wagon.
Also, this implies that Maria jumped down the well to go help the others, and Oscar just let her?
No, she didn't jump down the well.
Yes, she did. because she found the page on the apathy, and then she was
Uh-huh.
down in the well.
Why? Part of me was like, maybe she. Yeah, I guess she didn't run through the cellar. Yeah, I'm like remembering the scene. I'm like, okay, yeah, from where she came from. That.
It's a freaking badass old lady.
Yeah. Poor Oscar. Remember when he was just farming? Now he has to save the world from two gods and his ex-wife. Gosh.
Well, to be fair, the world would be in way worse shape if he stayed. So
Mm. Oh, hey, there. Did you? There's been some people theorizing that like Salem's endgame plan is to fight the gods and replace them with herself.
oh, I the companion guide actually mentioned what her end game is. It's not that.
Oh, okay.
Because the gods
Enlighten
would
me.
crush her like a bug.
Enlighten me,
Okay,
as I
so
do not have it.
what she's what she basically wants to do is become a god herself.
Mm-hmm.
She wants all the main powers not only to strengthen herself, but to make sure no one else on Remnant has access to magic besides her,
Mm-hmm.
so no one can oppose her. And she wants the relics to basically reshape the world with what are basically glorified Sims tools.
Okay.
So the lamp can basically guide her if she has any questions.
Mm-hmm.
The sword can destroy massive continents that are in her way that she doesn't like.
Mm-hmm.
The staff can just make new shit that she wants. And then I'm assuming that the relic of choice will probably make sure no one has the free will to stop her.
Dang. Yeah. Wow.
That's it. Because it doesn't make sense for her to want to gather the relics and summon the gods, because then they just kill her.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like, I don't know. Like, ever since I talked to Simlin's Insanity, they put the crazy idea in my head that, oh, we will fight the gods at some point in this show. And I'm just like, wow, but how? But, like,
I feel like we're going to meet them in person. I don't know about fight them, but
yeah.
it's not going to be from Salem. I feel like that's the last thing Salem wants.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, they just eat her. I mean, would they, though?
It'd be like, wow, you literally have not learned at all. We're gonna just take that immortality of yours. Ruby, feel free to kill her now.
Yeah, they're like, unlike you, we have learned our lesson, and we're deciding not to let you live any longer and give you any more.
Learn to make worlds where you don't happen.
Lee stays dabbing is like, Ruby was just a game of Sims the whole time.
Yes, and Salem is the player.
Was it Cal that like did a Ruby Sim series a bit on YouTube?
I don't know.
Someone.
I haven't seen one of those things in like eons. So like
Yeah, I just remember someone made the Ruby characters in Sims and like posted little pictures of them on Twitter and stuff, and maybe made a YouTube video of like them making the characters, but like not doing like a web series with them.
yeah, just imagine Salem doing that with the relics to Remnant.
Yeah. Oh, hey, CJ has a good question. He said, "Hey, question: Does the God of Light's domain even still exist? And if it does, is it possible for Team Ruby to find it? And also, thank you to Ulysses for subscribing."
I'm gonna go out on a limb and go with the consensus that the God of Light's domain is what we now know is the Spring Vault. That basically Remnant has become so horrible that the light that kept that domain pure and beautiful is gone.
Well then.
Meanwhile, the Land of Darkness is great because this world is terrible.
Yeah. Gosh, yeah, that makes sense. Oh, also, the big whale thing.
Oh, Richard.
Yeah, Richard. Yeah.
As penned by Kelly and Senny.
Yep. Yeah, I was there for that.
Oh boy.
Gosh, Richard. Yeah, so you know how like people were thinking that like the Grimm pools were like related to like how many Grimm are out there or how many Grimm could be left? And it was like, you know, with how big Richard is, it makes sense why those pools are almost empty.
Well, we don't know if the Ichor, is a limited resource.
Yeah, yeah. I
There are types
personally
of Grim like Kevin that can just make that stuff.
yeah. Oh yeah, Kevin did make stuff, huh?
Yeah, they just oozed from his chest. It was really gross.
Yeah, yeah. It kind of was.
Now we have Budget Monstro, also known as Budget Moby Dick.
Hey, he's not on budget. He's the size of Atlas.
I know. I just like calling things budget versions.
Yeah.
Whale's cousin. Oh no.
Oh
no.
Kevin is the dragon. Yes, Kevin is the dragon.
Still bothered though that we don't have the official term for the whale.
Yeah.
Like Kevin is a wyvern, then we have the pteryx, which are the pterodactyls. We have the megaliths. What the hell is this whale? What is its term?
Richard.
Do we know?
Richard is a Richard type Grim.
I want to laugh at that, but I get answers like that sincerely from people when I ask for the term, and it pisses me off.
Well, know
it's
that.
Like, no, I'm not asking for a fan name. I'm asking for the term, which no one knows apparently.
Hey, Miles and Carrie, if you're watching this, please make it the official term.
Richard.
Yep.
Salem is coming with a Richard.
With a Richard type Grim. Yep. So going off topic just a little bit, Jake was asking, do we think that Ilya will be coming to Atlas, in the Atlas arc at any time?
Oh hell no! I don't see where she could fit in any of this.
Yeah. Well, so by reading that question, I had an idea, but and honestly, like part of this idea I feel like could work only because I have no clue where Volume 8's gonna go. Like from beginning to end, I don't know where it's gonna go. I could see that like if some actually no, I just thought of something that ruined that plan. I was gonna say like, oh yeah, if the rest of the world found out that Atlas is being attacked by Salem, then maybe the White Fang, like Blake's parents and Ilya will come and like be like, yeah, the Faunus coming to help out humans.
Oh, that might actually be kind of interesting. Although I feel like that might be better saved for the final battle in Vacuo.
Yeah. Well, also, the thing that kind of blew that plan out of the water was like, oh, wait a second, the world communication towers are down.
Yeah.
So I'm like, wait a second. I'm like, how would they find out? How?
Maybe we'll try to launch Amity by ourselves in Volume 8 while Salem is besieging it with.
Someone sent off a carrier pigeon. At like when Penny,
sure.
yeah, they sent off a carrier pigeon, and it eventually got.
Penny does have rocket boots. She could just fly to like Vacuo and Mistral and be like, "Help."
That is true. She could just Iron Man it all the way there.
Iron Maiden.
Yeah, Iron Maiden. Yeah.
I forget whose that was. Thank you, whoever I stole that joke from.
I remember seeing that in Kelly's and Senny's stream, but it was someone in the chat that came up with it.
Yes, that person. That is the person I took it from.
Yeah. Clover has big Richard energy. Gosh.
What does that even mean? What does that mean? Oh, right,
Bass
because
Pro.
fishermen.
Yeah.
Because the lucky fisherman.
Oh.
And a whale.
I was thinking like they were just being like, he has big dick energy, and then you're like, what does
God
that mean? And it's like, the question's not for you, the question's for Crow.
Oh no.
Sorry.
That went to a place.
It did.
Oh dear.
Yeah. Speaking of Clover, do we want to expand on how you feel with that? And
might as well, because we were planning on it anyway, and a lot of the discourse around this is basically just people screaming past each other and threatening to kill each other, which is nice. That's great. I love that. Very 2020. I should state, I feel like the big the big reason this is causing such a clash is because it's a clash between people's interpretations. Like, you have the people who always saw it as a bromance, and the shipping aspect is just for fun. And I feel like that's where the writers kind of were. But then you have the people who, you know, thought it might actually happen. As for those who don't know, we call it MLM rep, men who love men.
Yeah.
And because there isn't really any of it in RWBY besides Scarlet, who we only know through supplemental content of his sexuality, and that's not even like fully confirmed. And it's kind of frustrating because you have people who were hoping for representation through this who were genuinely hurt. I have one friend who has been having nightmares and panic attacks because of it, because they were going through a rough patch and they latched on to RWBY as a whole, and then this ship as well for representation factor.
Yeah.
And so to have this happen and the revelation of the miscommunication between writing and marketing, it's just so you have that, and then you also have the people who are also hurt but are lashing out at RWBY and sending death threats, which is not right. Like, we should not tolerate that. Like, the pain comes from a real place, but that behavior is not acceptable whatsoever.
Yeah.
But then you also have people who didn't see it at any point and refuse to acknowledge the people who are hurt, their feelings as valid. They're just like, oh, it's just a ship, get over it. And it's frustrating because...
Well, it's also just like, people could be upset over Clover's death, ship or no ship. You know, like, a likable character died. So, like, I feel like those people who are like, get over it, it's just a ship, are like missing that, like, Clover was a likable character, hence why the ship was so popular. I don't know. I'm just like, how could you... I don't know. People get upset when Pyrrha dies, but then, like, it's not okay to get upset when, like, Clover dies, and it's just like, there's a weird double standard there. If that makes sense. You there, Thomas? Oh boy. Thomas? I think Discord crashed. Yep. Okay, Discord crashed. Or it froze. Let's see. Am I able to just do a thing? Okay. Hold on. I am gonna go to Facecam. Oh gosh. Wait, hold on. Hey. Did you accidentally mute your microphone? Check if you muted yourself. Okay, he's leaving. Oh my gosh, this is making the Discord capture go crazy. Boop boop. Sorry guys, I thought like my face cam was gonna show, and then I remembered like only one thing could happen. Yeah, I forgot. It was gonna be a dark screen. Thomas? I cannot hear you. Hello? Can you check your mic? See if your mic's muted or not? Or your input settings? Oh my gosh.
What's even happening?
Hey, there you are.
What the hell just happened?
I don't know. Your curse came back.
Oh, god damn it. Oh, it's Watts. It is Watts.
Oh, yeah, Watts. You know, it's funny because that's the frame I was on for the thing.
Watts is homophobic, confirmed.
He's still alive, and he's
Being a dick.
yeah. He has very internal homophobia because that man is not straight. I refuse to believe he is straight. Sorry.
Oh my god.
The way he presented himself in, what was it, chapter 1 or chapter 2, when he's walking down the street.
Like, all dressed up. Yep, Cindy. Yeah. All dressed up for Hit Run.
All dressed up for Hit Run.
Oh god.
Anyway, do you want to go back to what you were saying before
the curse?
Yeah.
It's just there's a lot of fighting going on and a lot of people talking past each other, and I feel like we just need to calm down and just relax and recognize each other's feelings as valid, because RWBY can stand to do better when it comes to MLM rep. And I feel like a lot of people specifically were looking forward to that, because a big complaint in Volume 6 that was used against Bumblebee by people who shall not be named, whomst are bad, was that it's easier to have female LGBT rep because they can be sexualized by men, and that's why they just went with Bumblebee, and that's why they had the Kata arcs. And I thought this might have been a good time for them to, prove that they're willing to go that extra mile. And then it turns out, nope, it looks like it was meant to just be a bromance, but not all the people in marketing or animation got that memo.
Yeah. Sorry, I had your volume way too loud. Sorry, people.
Oh, God damn it.
Sorry, I turned your volume up to 200%, thinking like maybe your volume went down. And then
I see.
Yeah. Sorry, guys. My bad. I forgot. That affects how you guys hear him, not just me.
Too much of my voice might kill you. So.
Sorry, I needed you guys to hear Thomas as if he was the voice of God in your head, giving you this wisdom.
If I'm God, you're all screwed.
Can't be any worse than the Bible's God, but anyway.
Oh damn. Oh damn.
Okay, sorry, I did not mean to throw that under a bus. Old Testament is a mess. Anyway.
Well,
New Testament I like. Anyway. King James Bible is gay. Yeah. Anyway. It just so you guys know, like never mind. Anyway.
And the thing that
I'm not atheist. If anyone thinks I'm atheist because I said that, I'm not. I can believe in things and still throw under a bus. Okay. Okay.
Oh, good lord. But I feel like what's really making things worse right now is the fact we haven't heard anything official from RWBY or the writers about what their intentions were and how they didn't mean for what happened, how they didn't mean to hurt these people. Yeah. And I feel like that's kind of what we need. We need some kind of official statement. I give Eddie a lot of credit for replying to me, trying to clear the air, but we need it from the official.
Because I totally missed that.
I'm going to try to summarize as best as I can from my terrible, terrible memory. But it was basically that sometimes the writers and the people who are in marketing aren't always on a one-to-one basis.
Oh, okay.
And that was the explanation, because
okay.
there was a lot of shipping for Lucky Charms from the official Twitter, and that was a bad choice.
Yeah, I've actually been thinking about like making I have a rough draft of the problem with Rooster Teeth and RWBY's shipping, like coming from their side, not the fandom side. Like fandom shipping, knock your guys selves.
That, and also when you hear about people complaining about shipping, usually it's people trying to disguise their homophobia. So
yeah, and that's kind of like where it's like, okay, how do I make this video and not somehow like
we're in horrible garbage people?
Yeah, like somehow not accidentally come out that way, because and like this is a problem that RWBY's had since Monty, because the team tactics are all ship names. Like Monty within show and outside of show acknowledged shipping and indulged in it, knowing that like fans will love it and engage with it. Because like and like Rooster Teeth with their media accounts from I went to a few of their marketing panels at RTX over the years, and they've always wanted like their RWBY account or the Rooster Teeth account to feel like a fellow fan, not a company, you know?
Yeah, which is common for a lot of businesses now with their social media accounts.
Yeah. And I feel like in one of those, in trying to be like a fellow fan, it will indulge in fanfare like shipping, because it's like, oh, this ship's popular, let's fangirl about it with the fans.
Let's make a lot of content about it.
Mm-hmm.
And the problem with that is that Lucky Charms specifically carried a lot of meaning for specific LGBT fans
Mm-hmm.
for representation that I don't think RWBY was entirely aware about. And this also reminds me of another point I wanted to make is that, the LGBT community, I feel like the straight audience might not fully understand this,
Mm-hmm.
and fairly enough because it's not their experience, but the LGBT community is not a monolith. We are a bunch of different groups, and we all have different goals. Sometimes they get in the way of each other. We actually sometimes really fucking hate each other.
Yeah. Oh no, I've seen my own fair share of stuff from the sidelines over the years.
It's a yikes.
Because I remember the times when like bisexuals were hated on a lot by like people on both sides, and then like
Definitely.
and it's kind of weird because I'm seeing like a lot of the same arguments, like the same biphobic arguments, turn into like aphobic arguments, like against asexuals and aromantics. And
Oh, yeah. And that's not even touching on the fact that, like, sometimes the L's, the G's, and the B's just forget the T's.
yeah,
And
that too.
sometimes, and then you also have the issue of binary transgender people not understanding non-binary transgender people. And it's a lot. And basically, we're not a monolith. And just because you have a certain type of LGBT representation in your show
Mm-hmm.
doesn't give you a pass on other forms of rep.
Yeah, yeah, and like I could agree with like the argument that I was used with Bumblebee on like showing WLW is easier than MLM, just because like people, I don't know, like people when they see two girls together, they don't think of it as gross or anything like as seeing two guys together. And like I'm saying gross as in like their mindset, not mine. But
Absolutely. And
yeah.
women are allowed to be a lot more affectionate with each other than men are.
Yeah, and I guess it kind of in a weird way goes into toxic masculinity, because like men in general are not allowed to show affection and
I think
softness.
that's also something that a lot of people don't understand is that when we talk about toxic masculinity, we're not saying men are bad. If anything, it hurts men just as much as it hurts women.
Yeah, yeah, because it's like, oh, like we want soft boys, but we're gonna condemn soft boys, and we'll definitely condemn soft boys being together soft boys.
Jean and Oscar being like great subversions of typical male protagonists.
Dude,
And getting shit for it.
I loved Jean being in a dress so much, just being like, screw gender norms.
Yes, and I love that he is a healer.
Yeah, and he's a healer. He's not much of a fighter. Like out of all of Team Juniper and RWBY, he's like the least fighty person. And I love it. But yeah, I anyway, back to like MLM and WLW. I definitely see your point and agree with it. I don't know, like I keep thinking of like what Hunter was saying with Cal. Like he was like Hunter said that like they wished that there was more unity sometimes, but I guess in the context of their conversation it was more like with discrimination, like fighting discrimination. And
I wish for that too. Like
yeah.
I wish the community would just put their differences aside and go like, okay, but we have to work together because otherwise the people who hate us don't care what the differences between us are.
Yeah. Yeah, and that was their argument, was like the people who hate us don't care which one we are. We need, So yeah, there's a lot of that. And I honestly hope that like when we get to the Vacuo arc, they'll fix things or put some things in place. I'm kind of hoping sea monkeys would be a thing.
I really, Jeremy and I are really going for bisexual or pansexual son. I
I'm
mean,
all
he was on a ship called the Pride, so I'm just saying.
yeah. I like sea monkeys. I think like because back in like volume 2, that was like the MLM ship. Like that was like the one and only one out there pretty much uh, in the fandom. But the fandom was really small, and we had like 3 male characters, and
It was a very different time.
it was a very different time. Yeah, but yeah, with Clover and Crow,
I feel like
they
they were the only one that had potential to really become
yeah
more than just fun shipping.
yeah because like for Crow like that was like he finally was safe to let his guard down.
He could finally be vulnerable with someone who made him, you know, accept and love himself,
Mm-hmm.
which is, and the thing is, like, that can work well even if they're just a friendship, but y'all got to be clear what your goal is. Is Crow questioning his sexuality, or is this just a bromance? You
Yeah.
can tell us. It's not a spoiler.
Also, like maybe Crow was just bi the whole time and he didn't need to question stuff. He was just like, yeah, I'm attracted to this guy. But yeah, it's
Yes.
yeah, I don't know. Like they were like I shipped Lucky Clovers. Like I liked it because it was also like Crow in his character arc is going away from like his toxic behaviors of like relying on alcohol and like being like pessimistic, and now he's being optimistic. He doesn't need alcohol, he's staying away from that. And so it's kind of like he was healing. And
So nice to see, and then you just get it ripped away.
yeah
And
it
it's like I get it in the macro sense that Atlas is like the biggest loss we've experienced yet.
mhm.
It's just the context surrounding those characters specifically makes it hurt.
Yeah, yeah. And I really don't know like how intentional like have you seen Neon Genesis Evangelion?
Yes.
Okay.
Jeremy and I have been thoroughly traumatized.
Okay, good. Because the comparison I want to make with Crow and Clover is with Kaoru. Is that his name pronounced in English?
Shinji and Kaoru.
Yeah, because like in the manga and the anime, like Kaoru like was like in love with Shinji and was like, and like in the original dub, apparently Shinji after that happens was like he loved me, he really loved me, like unlike other people, like that was like a genuine feeling from
Then it got ripped away.
yeah. So I
But
I hmm?
but the thing is, like, we're in a time period where that stuff is considered not great.
Oh
Those
no, no.
tropes are considered bad and harmful for a reason now.
Yeah,
Like,
I agree. I'm just saying like I saw the comparison like once Clover kicked the bucket, and I thought they were gonna have some sort of reveal with Crow if he confronted Ironwood, doing like the equivalent to Shinji's "He loved me, he really loved me." But
maybe I don't know. I feel like that might make things worse, quite
yeah,
honestly.
yeah, and that's what I wanted to ask you. I was like, would that make things worse or
Yeah, yeah.
band-aid on a bullet hole?
Oh, very much so.
Yeah.
And I don't know, because some friends and I have been hoping that, I don't know, maybe that we can use the staff to bring Clover back, but then that also raises the question of, are we going to invalidate death in the show as a whole? And it's like all of this could have been avoided if
Mm-hmm.
they saw how people genuinely get excited for MLM rep through
Mm-hmm.
Lucky Charms and went, we're not planning for that. We're sorry. Please do not put your hopes in this, in an official statement that everyone could see.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's kind of going back to like the social media thing. The problem with RT, the company, indulging in shipping and fanfare with that, or with like character interactions, is it almost seems like a stamp or certification of this is going to be a canon thing.
And the thing is, I don't want to say that they're not allowed to do that
Mm-hmm.
because I love that they do that. But the problem comes with the fact that they also need to be sincere when something has a lot of weight to a lot of people and
Mm-hmm.
go, we're sorry, please don't get your hopes up for that. We're going to like have fun with the shipping idea, but in
Mm-hmm.
canon, please don't hope for this. That's
Yeah.
all that I ask for. And I feel like the best thing now is just an official statement on that, and then I will be perfectly fine.
Yeah, like if Miles and Carrie, or someone from RWBY's
So
writing team,
anyone.
makes a post in the RT community site and just be like, hey, here's an explanation of like what happened and why it happened, and here's our apology and what we'll do moving forward, I think that'd be great.
That's that will do a lot to mend the rifts going on
Mm-hmm.
in the community and maybe help people like get over the shock of what's happened because the radio silence is not helping.
Yeah, and I talked to you earlier this week where I remember seeing a tweet from one of the voice actors, whether it be Crow's, Ironwood's, or Clover's, hinting to a fan in a reply that you do not want to ship Clover and Crow together because it's something he does later in the volume. Because it,
It should not be left up to a voice actor to
yeah,
have to tell
but
that.
also the tweet got taken down, and so it's like, were they told by RWBY like, hey, you might be accidentally spoiling something because the fans are already on. They're already on the theory of one of the Aesops is gonna die or is a traitor theory, and might connect the dots somehow and be like, oh, so and so dies. This ruins the show.
Should it not be common sense that representation that matters like this much to people is more important than any potential spoilers?
Yeah, yeah. Well, yeah, and like them just giving an official statement like, hey guys, like just to let you know, this isn't gonna be a canon relationship, wouldn't lead towards people figuring out that someone's gonna die or something.
Or you could just go, no, Crow is not questioning himself. Clover is not what you think he is.
Mm-hmm.
Please don't go in hoping for that. Just
Oh, it was Aaron Zek. It was Aaron Zek that alluded to
love
it.
Aaron. I love
Why did
Aaron
I?
so much.
I love Aaron, but also it's like, how did I not remember it was her? Like I could have sworn it was a Jason that said
Yeah,
it.
you think it would be obvious it would be Aaron because Aaron is very upfront about all this stuff.
Yeah, Aaron is what is it? The Tom Holland of RWBY. She will just
She is. I
let
love
stuff
her.
happen. Well, she is, and I love her for it. But it also like misled so many people this volume because like she was the one that was
Oh
like, "There's gonna be a dance. There's gonna be like a kiss. There's gonna be Nora's backstory." And what the heck just fell over?
my.
But yeah, so I was totally like, "All right, here's expectations," and then it's like, "Oh, okay. Guess the dance was cut." But yeah.
Uh, but I feel like aside from that huge stain on the volume, this is still easily the best volume, and I
Oh yeah.
love it.
Oh yeah. It's great. Um, Also, Lee's saying like the marketing shouldn't have pushed uh, Lucky Charms in a certain way. Um, yeah.
And like, well, even then, I feel like they. It probably would have been fine if they were clear beforehand that,
Mhm.
you know, it not gonna happen.
Yeah, and Jake did a reply to her, which I'm not sure which animator they're talking about. There's two that are coming to my mind. There
I've
was
heard that the animators made comments about that stuff.
there was one of the animators I know that made like a lot of fan art for Lucky Charms, and people took that as like an endorsement from like official RWBY, and they're like,
Yeah,
no,
and
no, no, I just enjoy it as a show. Like I enjoy the ship, even though I know what happens.
I remember there were animators, or was an animator. I don't
Mm-hmm.
remember who, and I don't know if I would want to name drop anyway.
Mm-hmm.
But they were like saying how they were trying to make Clover and Crow interactions as gay as possible, and I'm like, please don't do that.
Yeah, and they also specifically drew the comparison to the waitress scene in volume 5 with the wink. and they're like,
Oh,
"Oh yeah, this was intentional." Like, there was a lot of stuff from a certain
how did y'all write this and not realize
animator.
people were going to interpret it this way?
Well, this was an animator, not a writer, saying this, and so,
Okay, yeah,
gosh,
fair.
yeah. So it's like,
Although I do have in my notes for binging the volume as a whole,
yeah,
because I take notes when I do this stuff.
yeah,
There must be at least 4 or 5 mentions of how did y'all render this out and preview this and not realize the implications
yeah, yeah.
in all caps.
Which again, like, led to like, uh, Winter slapping Weiss, Blake slapping Sun, and now Oscar punching um, Neo. Like, there's a lot of weird miscommunications from like point A to point B.
I
And,
feel like that's not necessarily a bad thing.
mm-hmm.
Specifically with fights, it's better to let the animators do that stuff on their own
Oh
because
yeah, I
they
agree. There's a place and a
can keep it.
time to like let the animators do their own thing.
Yeah, but things that have to do with story specifically
Mm-hmm.
should be clear.
Yeah, yeah, and it's just.
Sometimes the writers are just so straight. Same, same, same.
Yeah, that was the comment that I read that made me laugh. Uh,
Oh my god.
yeah, I yeah, and I don't want to name the animator because they
Don't want to
they
stand hot.
were
We don't
kind
want
of
to
a
stand
friend of mine
hostility.
at some point. Like, I did used to have regular conversations with this person, and I I think like a lot of like with RWBY in general, like it was all unintentional. So like they weren't trying to hurt people, but that's what they ended up doing.
Uh,
And
we can just all we can do is just inform them, which I plan to do in my review. God help me, and learn to do better. But at least we can all unite behind the idea that anyone who is throwing homophobic slurs about Lucky Charm shippers or sending death threats to RWBY, those people belong in the dumpster.
are are people throwing slurs out?
Uh,
I
they
hadn't
always are.
seen it, but I believe it. Yeah, it's like it's one of those things that's like I haven't seen it, haven't heard of it, but would not be surprised if it's happening. But
I
yeah,
mean, really, just ask any LGBT RWBY tuber. We see it all the time in our comments, and we're just
no,
kind of numb to it.
dude, I get so pissed when I see stuff like that happening in like your comments, Cal's, or
It like I try
Kelly's.
to delete them on site, but my mental health can't take that stuff, and so it
Yeah,
just kind of sits there.
yeah. I had to block I are they a RWBY tuber? They had a YouTube channel. Yeah, they have a YouTube channel. And they talk about RWBY. I guess they're a RWBY tuber. But
One of them is it one of the YouTubers whomst is bad.
yeah, for like 2 weeks straight, they kept commenting on the same video with like giant book length angry comments at me, and
What's the time for this?
yeah, right. And it was like
I
two
don't have the time
weeks
to do this.
2 weeks, no one was replying to them. I wasn't replying to them. It was like they were yelling into the void in my comment section for 2 weeks. And eventually I think I just blocked them from being able to make comments on my channel.
Talking features are so nice.
Yeah. And it's like, man, dude, chill. Like, yeah, it's like, I'm sorry I said I like Blake. Chill.
I don't get the Blake hate, honestly.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's like, why do you hate Blake this much? Anyway,
I believe we've covered everything we need to cover.
yeah, we did.
We did,
Volume
and
7.
we
Very-
nearly died in the process.
Yeah, dude. I mean, I gotta say, like, Volume 7, I think is the volume we deserved, or like we needed. Maybe not.
I feel like Volume 6 is the one we needed. 7 is the one we deserved.
Okay, yeah, that's better. Yeah.
We needed Volume 6 to restore our hope, and then 7 was just like, we're gonna treat y'all. Just sit back and relax.
Yeah. Okay, Inspector Who's is asking expectations for Volume 8.
Really long war. Ruby's gonna get kidnapped. Atlas is gonna fall. It's gonna be horrific. A lot of death. And then we go save her in Volume 9.
Yeah. Also, like, Sorry, Lee made a comment, and I was like, oh yeah, I was on the perfect frame for that at one point.
Oh, is it the Salem thing?
Salem's titty window. Yeah.
Oh my god.
I
Okay.
almost said that out loud in my reaction. I mean, I'll watch it tomorrow and be like, I did say it out loud, but I was
Okay,
like,
but she's treating herself like she got herself a
I
war outfit.
I love her so much. Like,
Such a good villain.
it's like, why? Yeah, it's like, why am I so scared of you, but also so hot for you at the same time? Like,
I just find her incredibly relatable.
just
Like when she's screaming, when after the gods left and she's screaming as asteroids are falling, I'm like, same, me too.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Gosh, Salem, what an entrance! Also called it on last shot of the volume will be on Salem arriving. Yeah.
I'm so excited for a siege across a whole volume.
Oh, okay. Thomas. I don't know how I didn't mention this beforehand, but last week on VYTALCast, I had Bree on, and Bree came in being like, I think Penny's gonna be the Winter Maiden. And I was like, yeah, right.
Oh yes, I remember you mentioning this.
Yeah. And I edited that part of VYTALCast into my reaction tomorrow because right before I watched the episode, I'm like, yeah, Bree mentioned Penny might become the Winter Maiden last night on VYTALCast. I'm not sure what to think about that, and then I cut to her saying it just so I have proof because
And now it has happened,
yeah,
and we love it.
because people always accuse reactors of like watching shows to know what happened and then watch it on record afterwards.
Oh, like fake their reactions.
Yeah, and it's like, okay, I gotta show the proof just so people know that wasn't
Their
me.
feet.
Yeah, like it wasn't me trying to be like, oh yeah, I watched the episode and I'm gonna just randomly guess the biggest, craziest thing that happens, you know? So it's like, no, like this was a thing that happened. Yeah. Anyway.
Ooh. Oh yes, the soundtrack. Fun fact: Casey wrote "Until the End" herself.
Yeah, didn't she write Fear as well?
No, she corrected on Twitter. The credits say she wrote it, but that's actually incorrect. Jeff wrote it.
Okay. Well,
She did write "Until the End."
All right. Well, it's not my fault. In my reaction, I saw Fear with her credited and was like, "Wow, she wrote that." But
oh no, I feel like you can listen to it and you can just tell it's a Jeff song, whereas "Until the End,"
yeah,
it feels so unlike any of the other slow songs, and I love it. Like the music in this volume has been so refreshing with all the new artists.
mm-hmm. Yeah, like Caleb was awesome to have.
I'm still kind of bitter. Christina V did not get a song, but that's for volume 8.
Yeah,
it's fine.
I thought it was kind of funny how we got to hear Elm and was it Harriet's voice actress as well?
I don't know.
No. I know Elm's voice actress was one of the 4 vocalists.
Bennett, and then we had Erin Riley. I don't know if she voices Harry or not. And then we also have Adrian, who sung Nevermore.
Yeah, and I think Adrian came back for one of the songs.
She came back for War.
Okay, yeah. Which apparently
War that's the song I'm most excited for.
Yeah, and honestly, for me, like when I watch the shows, I don't pay attention or hear, I don't pay attention to the lyrics specifically enough to remember them after watching them for the first time. So like,
I get that.
So I don't like recognize. So like with Until the End, I didn't recognize that was differently written than most of Jeff's songs, and I didn't recognize that Fear was written in his style. If that makes sense.
Because you're experiencing it for the first time and you haven't fully processed it.
Yeah, that and like when you're talking during it too, so you can...
that also will fuck it up.
Yeah. Also, Michaela keeps asking about Ren crying. I totally forgot. Skipping
Ren. I get annoyed by people who say that the conflict between him and Nora was pointless in this volume, and I'm like, no, because this is the part. No, it's not even that. It's that this is the part 1. So whatever they're building towards in Volume 8 is going to wreck us. And I'm very worried that Ren might lose all hope and turn to Ironwood's side at the last minute.
Dude, I I've been
Scared.
I've seen like I've seen the clues for that, and I'm like, I don't. How dare you make Renora canon and then break them up? Like, I mean, I hope they don't. I mean, like honestly,
I don't know because
if
they
he
don't have plot armor.
if oh they don't, yeah, oh no. Or Nora dies
Actually,
and Ren offs himself. No, gosh,
but
don't
yeah,
bring
because
back the Team Juniper dies theory. Gosh, no.
Jeremy had Jeremy had the theory that that ties into how their inspirations died because Joan of Arc was burned alive,
Yep,
Thor died by serpent venom,
yep,
and Mulan herself when her country was invaded.
yep.
So Cinder kills Jean, Tyrion kills Nora, maybe dying in the process,
Mm-hmm.
and then Ren, in his despair with Atlas conquered, decides to just throw himself off the edge of the city to be with his family in the afterlife.
Yep. Yeah, I remember that theory
Yeah,
being
there it is.
around since like Volume 1 days. And then Volume 3
Okay.
happened and it solidified the theory. And boy, did YouTubers go off on that theory, being like,
Yeah.
"Oh my gosh!" And now we're
Well,
just
if it's gonna happen anywhere, it's gonna happen here because this is the darkest hour before the final battle.
I I don't I don't want to lose Nora, and I don't want to lose
I don't want
Ren,
to
and I
lose
don't
her.
want them to break up.
I don't want to lose them either. But at the same time, people die in war.
I know. I'm just in denial before it happens. I'm just, dude.
Uh,
That I
it's
mean,
fine.
I'm feeling pre-wrecked right now. Like
You're anticipating the pain and you're just trying to get accustomed to it.
I feel like the pain that I'm feeling from that moment is traveling backwards through time to this moment right now. I'm like,
Fuck, we're in
no.
Kingdom Hearts now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not good.
Yeah, like I'm with Michaela. Like I will not be able to handle Nora dying. Like I just no.
We don't know, but
Like
it's possible.
I'd hate to say like currently I'm feeling I could survive Ren dying. I can't survive Nora dying.
Nora is the precious
Yeah.
being, and she's a beacon of light,
Yeah.
of pink thunderlight.
Although I would like to expand and say like I may be okay with Ren dying, but I am not okay with them breaking up and then him dying.
Oh no,
Like
no,
like it's
you're
like
gonna kill them.
if they're gonna break up, I want it because to be from one of them being dead, not because one of them's like I hate you now. You know, it's
Oh god, I just imagined, and I'm a horrible person for this.
oh no, okay.
Ren joins Ironwood, and then Nora dies either fighting the military or from Salem, and Ren goes, "I did this for fucking nothing."
I thought that was
Great.
where you were going when you originally said he'd switch to Ironwood's side last minute. I was like, oh boy, like, ah man, don't why.
Give way to fear, kids. Fear does crazy things to you.
It does.
Also, don't do drugs.
Also don't do drugs. And also, like, if one could say, if Ren joined Ironwood last minute, and Nora dies anyways, Ren is Anakin.
So many chosen ones in this show.
Like this is just the
What's
episode
happening?
of VYTALCast where we're like, and that character's Anakin, and that character's Anakin. You're all Anakin.
Are there any other Anakins I should know about?
I want to say Oscar somehow.
Damn it. Imagining Oscar in a little Darth
Not
Vader
just because
costume,
the
and it's
cane
horrible.
resembles a lightsaber to me, but also because Oscar's somewhat a chosen one.
And the maidens are
Special
kind of chosen ones too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Chosen one because silver eyes. What's happening?
Oscar is Luke. Okay, fine. If
I'm
Oscar's...
willing to accept that.
Yeah. You're gonna what?
Wait, that means that Oscar is Ren's son.
or Ironwood's son.
Is Ironwood also Anakin? What's happening?
No, wait. Well, like I'm thinking like Ironwood is the Darth Vader, the man who used to have humanity but now doesn't. And
Also said
Oscar,
Ren is Anakin. Well, I mean, to be fair, Ren is an Ironwood in the making, so.
Yeah. Yeah, and Farm Boy is what's going to try to pull them back to the light and save the day.
Fail. And be shot and thrown off a cliff.
Gosh, yeah. Ironwood is a good character. Like, I disagree with him, and I'm mad at him.
He's a fantastic character, and I think it speaks volumes that that you can have these divides between the characters and have the Atlesians not be outright mustache twirling villains like Salem.
Mm-hmm. Jake is saying, if everyone's Anakin, then who has the high ground? She's on screen. She's on a flying Richard.
She's like, it's over Ironwood. I have the high ground and a whale.
Yeah. 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 Salem is Obi-Wan Kenobi. It's canon. Yeah.
Oh, Obi-Wan really lost his mind.
I mean, he does break down crying. And
that enough to turn you into an immortal deity bent on world destruction?
Salem is what Obi-Wan could have been.
I will buy that. That's fine. That works for me.
Okay.
I have the high whale. Oh, now I'm just imagining the whale does drugs.
I mean, why do you think it glows? Why do you think it's flying? It's high.
Now the lighting side of it is making people who try to like drink from like lava lamps.
Oh my gosh. Freelancer Amber, someone save her. She got a lava lamp now.
Oh, God of it.
Yeah. She's been talking a lot about her lava lamp lately, so I'm like, oh no. Someone go get her. Salem has an exorbitant amount of purple kush.
Damn it. Honestly, I feel like none of this would have happened if someone provided some cannabis to the Elysian military so they could relax.
Yeah, they could just chill off. Especially Ironwood. Like, if Ironwood...
Yeah.
If he was just a little high when he saw that chess piece, maybe he wouldn't have overreacted.
Salem wants to play a game of chess. Cool, I'll just wait for her here.
Yeah, oh man.
Salem shows up like, what the hell did you smoke and where can I find it?
Hashtag misplaced priorities is like an Atlesian national character flaw.
Can't believe we said don't do drugs, kids, but then we discovered that drugs were the answer to all of our problems.
Gosh, I feel like you and I are just slowly diving into like hiatus meme territory.
This is going to be the most agonizing wait of them all for a volume. Because we're waiting to see how we deal with them. An army of demons.
And also, like, there's just like the nightmare fuel of like not knowing what's gonna happen in Volume 8. Like us ending with this and not knowing what's following it.
I will say, it does kind of annoy me that there are people who are like, oh, it looks like they're going for the final battle now because they want to get the show over with, or, oh, the show doesn't know what it's doing, and I'm like, I have been able to freaking guess where this show is going on broad strokes for a while now. What makes you think this is the final battle? I'm sorry.
Whomst is saying that? What? No,
there are people. There are people whomst I shan't name.
All right. Okay. Yeah.
Fine.
This is obviously like the battle of Crap. Oh no, I'm
The Battle
forgetting.
of Crap.
No. Well, I mean, you're not wrong, but
Volume 5. That was
yeah, no,
Volume 5.
yeah. No, I'm thinking of like Lord of the Rings, the Battle of Gondor. Yeah, the Battle of Gondor before the battle at the Black Gate. That makes sense. Like
I'm gonna
Atlas is
pretend. I'm
Gondor.
gonna pretend that I know because I have not seen all of the Lord of the Rings or read all of them.
Thomas, I expected you. You were the chosen one, Thomas. You were
It's your.
the writer
That's the.
in
That
fantasy.
is the fault. That is the fault of whoever chose me.
I I chose you. No.
You have horrible judgment.
Yeah. Dude, I this is like such a weird thing. Like I thought Lord of the Rings would be right down your alley. Like I
I attempted to read the first book and then I got busy.
yeah, honestly, the
I
books
did,
I can
I did see the
understand.
first.
The movies
I did
though.
see the first movie,
Yeah, okay.
and I never saw the other movies. I did, although I do remember that fight between Gandalf and
Saruman.
uh, yes,
Yeah.
I nearly blanked on his name because it's so similar to Sauron.
Yeah.
And there was a moment where Gandalf was just being like telekinetically thrown across the floor, and I'm just like, oh no, is he trying to dance like he's in a nightclub until he dies?
They're on Netflix right now. Hello, Salem Queen. You are on screen right now. Salem, there you are.
Salem,
Yeah.
please spare us.
Salem in the chat. I think I've seen you in both Kelly's and Lady Stardust streams in the past week. Correct me if I'm wrong on one of those.
You're saying I cause y'all physical pain? Isn't that part of my brand though?
Yeah, yeah. Your war is giving us pain.
Yeah, so it's on brand, so I'm doing the right thing.
Yeah.
I guess I'll never see those movies now.
Oh no, no, please, Thomas. No, Thomas. Like, from watching your like disappointment in Game of Thrones season 8, I feel like Lord of the Rings will fill that void, if not the Witcher series.
I am intrigued by Witcher. I feel like for me with Lord of the Rings, and this might be kind of nitpicky, and
Mm-hmm.
also it's not really a fair critique because it was from a different time, but I
Uh-huh.
feel like it's because it's pretty much all male characters, and I tend to prefer stories driven by female characters. Like that's why I
Yeah.
latched on to RWBY.
Okay.
It's just
That's fair.
I prefer women kicking ass.
Yeah. Yeah. To be fair, Lord of the Rings was written like
Well,
50s,
it's a
60s.
Yeah, it's such a small thing, and I can't critique that. It's just a personal thing for me.
Yeah.
It's my problem that I'm going to make you all deal with.
Hey, you know what? Props to you for admitting that it's just personal preference and not like a objective thing, like it's
And I did enjoy the bit of the book that I read. I wasn't engaged enough to continue, and also life was trying to kill me.
Yeah. Gosh, I love Lord of the Rings so much. Like I just toss a coin to your huntress, O remnant of plenty, Senzi. It's amazing. Yeah, The Hobbit is my favorite out of the books. Lee, I mean, unless you watch the movie could go die.
Movies were weird. Um,
the
I was actually watching one of Lindsay Ellis's video essays on The Hobbit earlier while I was making food.
Oh yeah.
So.
Yeah. Jake is saying Lord of the Rings has 2 prominent female characters in the film.
Oh,
Yeah.
2. All 2.
So there's only 2 that I could think of that are in the movie. Period. Is like Arwen, which is Aragorn's love interest, who just sits around dying because she misses him, and then Galadriel, which is who John Ronald just mentioned, who is the elf lady who prophesizes what will happen if Frodo fails, and yeah.
Because Lindsay does bring up a good point that mostly executives, but I feel like a lot of people in the audience are just kind of like, oh, this character needs a plot reason to be female. Otherwise, the default would be a man. Am I right?
Yeah. Oh wait, also Eowyn. I forgot. Yeah, their Cipher was like, "I am no man." I totally spaced on her for a second. Eowyn.
Oh yeah,
I
that's
forgot how did I forget Eowyn?
that's
Iconic.
a beautiful meme.
Yeah. Wait, what did Sonic Rose said? I just want the grim whale's glowing head to get poked, and then it deflates like a balloon all over the place, like a loud farting sound.
Oh, that's so sad. Oh, that's
That
so sad.
that is amazing. um.
For Richard.
Oh, also Richard might eat Penny and Pietro.
Oh, or we might go inside them to kill them from the inside.
Pulling a real Gears of War right there.
That just murder the shit out of a whale.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, honestly, like, or it's like a real Death Star moment, you know, like finding the little, like, exhaust hole for destroying the
Poor
big round thing of death.
did have to rush to make this army, so she's bound to have made mistakes in the design.
Yeah, yeah. Uh, Also, speaking of Star Wars, since we mentioned it so many times, there were parts of this finale that felt like the ending to Empire Strikes Back for me.
Oh, now that you mention it, I did get a lot of Empire vibes
Like,
watching this, mainly with everything going wrong.
well, that, but specifically the scene where Blake, Yang, and them show up in the airship to pick up Ruby, Weiss, and Penny. That, for some reason, felt very much like Luke hanging, like dangling from the thing without a hand, and the Millennium Falcon coming up with, Lando coming out. Like Lando coming out of the Falcon had the same vibe and energy as like Blake in the Yang in the airship. Man, I keep thinking Yang and then I say Blake so many times today. Where is that shot?
Fine.
I swear, it was the same energy. Where is it? Okay, I've found the moment ish. Oh, wait, no. I found the moment
Oh dear.
ish. Where is it? I just want the
Mom.
shot. Yeah. Hold on. Oh, and then there's Winter like yelling Winter
Weiss.
yelling at Weiss. Yeah.
Winter yelling at Winter.
Winter
It's
yelling
the dark,
at herself.
dark
Yeah. Gosh. Sorry guys. We're at the time of the day where like my brain starts clocking out cuz
like we probably should be wrapping this up, but like
yeah.
we'll do that. We'll discuss that last screenshot and then we'll wrap up.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. So anyway, this shot with Yang peering through the ice in the airship reminds me of Lando coming out of the top of the Millennium Falcon. So
He's just like, did y'all murder an old woman? Also, Weiss, what's wrong with your sister? Her hair is down and it's beautiful, but she's also bleeding everywhere, and I think 5 of her ribs are broken.
Yeah, dude, I was so scared that
She's gonna die.
Yeah, like when I saw blood come out of Winter, I was like, oh no, she's going to die. And
Probably because this is such a sterile hospital environment with a lot of whites, so the blood pops a lot more.
yeah, well, also it was just like, when her aura broke during the aerial battle, I was like, oh no, Winter, just stay out of any conflict from now on till your aura comes back. And then, she went fighting the Fall
I'm impressed
Maiden.
that when she got hit with the fireball in midair, she held on to her sword.
Yeah. Oof.
Damn, girl.
Yeah, like, I mean, as someone who's had to hold on to stuff and get hit at the same time, sometimes getting hit makes you tighten your grip. You don't always let go of stuff. Like, sometimes you tense
True.
up.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah, but she was also falling from an incredibly high height. So,
Yeah. Yeah. Which
not a
may.
critique. It's just like, wow. I don't know how you did that. I would not be able to do that. I would die.
I think I would just be so freaking tensed up that, like, I don't know, like, that sword would infuse with my hand. Because I am scared of heights and I tense up when I get hit. So Yeah.
Same on the heights.
Yeah. Yeah. It's over 9 people. Okay, so anyway, I guess we will end VYTALcast on this note.
I will say one thing though.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine if we saw the army outside Atlas and we just decided to go to Vacuo instead.
Bruh, if they do
Avoid
not
it
turn
all.
around that airship, I will be severely disappointed. And I don't know if I'd be disappointed more in Maria, who's flying it, or everyone else in the ship for not telling her to turn it around.
Oh, I just meant at the start of Volume 7. Like, imagine if Salem thought we were here, but it turns out we were in Vacuo the whole time.
Oh my gosh. I mean, Cinder was definitely on that page of like, they should have been going to Vacuo. Like, what if it was the other way around? Like, what if it was like them fleeing to Vacuo and they get to Vacuo and it's already been like destroyed by Salem's army? And then
Well,
they
the
have
only
to turn
reason
back.
I assume the only reason Salem made an army was because it was Atlas specifically.
Oh, yeah, because it's like the military country. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like, all right, we gotta bust out the big guns.
Yeah.
We gotta bust out the whale.
Bust out Richard.
Case of emergency brake tank.
This calls for big Richard energy.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Gosh. All right. Well, I gotta close my laptop because it is now dying. But everyone's like, hey, 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 pack it up, Richard. Thanks, Senzi. Oh man.
Oh
Anyway,
lord.
thank you so much for guesting on VYTALcast this weekend, Thomas. Like, it's always great having you on.
Oh, no problem. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, and I really wanted you on because of chapter 12, but I had already had Bree confirmed for that week, and
Yeah, I feel like that probably was for the best because I needed time to just process all of that.
yeah, that, and I wanted to hear about your thoughts about the volume as a whole, which I wouldn't be able to do with chapter 12 because chapter 13 hadn't happened yet, and yeah.
Yeah.
The
It's fine.
The last
It's
chapter
fine.
can make or break or something, but yeah, it's fine. And
It's fine. This wasn't Breach.
Yeah.
I'm talking about Breach.
Yeah. Gosh. Also, for next weekend, I was going to go to Katsu and was going to have like a week break for VYTALcast. I am not going to Katsu anymore, and we'll be having Lady Stardust as a guest next week. So tune in for that. We will not be talking about Volume 7 because she has not seen it. So
yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, don't spoil it for her. Pre warning now. Anyway.
Be rude.
Yeah, don't be rude. All right. So thank you guys so much for watching, and as always, I will boop you next time.
Bye.